Chapter 56 Missing Girl. Alright, Fan Mo. We will give you an ID related to the City Hunters team later, Captain Shu Dahuang said. There's an ID? Mo Fan said, feeling a bit stunned. Of course. Fei Shi explained as he kept smiling. This ID has quite a few privileges. The U right now is equivalent to an enforcement officer within Bo City. You're saying that I have now become an honorable enforcement officer? Mo Fan asked as he creased his brow. Ha ha ha, we are precisely city officers. Li Wenji suddenly laughed. Only after he stopped laughing did he continue. The only difference is that we don't deal with those law-breaking peddlers nor profiteers. We deal with the things that emerge at night. A city officer of Bo City? Mo Fan couldn't help but smile a little. This position was quite to his own liking. It had a whiff of being Spider-Man, the Flash, or Iron Man, the hero that was supposed to save this chaotic city. While at the same time, he could be mysterious as he flirted with girls. Mo Fan quickly blended in with the mood. Fei Shi, the older brother who had the most experience, introduced the squad's current state of affairs, as well as their primary responsibilities. Hello. What? Why didn't you report this to me earlier? What kind of global joke are you making? Those police officers are completely useless. While they were happily discussing things, Captain Shu Dahuang roared into his phone. Li Wenji, Xiao Ke, Fei Shi, and the people who were happily talking to Mo Fan suddenly changed expressions, as their gaze fixed on Captain Shu Dahuang. At this time, Fei Shi creased his brow as he whispered to the suspicious Mo Fan, originally, we wanted to take you out for some drinks. Who would have thought that the second you joined us, we would be assigned work? If we aren't wrong, then it's most likely the cafeteria's quaking door of Minwen Girls' Middle School. The cafeteria's quaking door? Mo Fan's eyes widened. He had heard of quaking cars, quaking water, quaking fields, but it was his first time hearing about freaking quaking doors. You city people sure know how to have fun. Brother, you are too wicked. It's not what you think it is. Every night, the school's cafeteria would have some strange quaking. In the beginning, they thought it was some construction team working in the middle of the night. After that, they had dispatched people to check, and the report said there was no construction team. Instead, there was a strange story that has been passed down through the Minwen Girls' Middle School, Fei Shi explained to Mo Fan as he whispered. Did you say Minwen Girls' Middle School? Mo Fan suddenly realized something before he inquired further. Yes, it's a girls-only school, even the teachers. Tisk, cough. Fei Shi returned to being serious. Mo Fan was unable to have sexual fantasies about it. Yi Xinxia was at precisely that girl's school. Thinking back on it, roughly 2 months ago when he was on the phone with Yi Xinxia, she had told him that her cafeteria was really scary. Alright, let's make use of the time when the students aren't studying to immediately resolve the issue. Captain Shu Dahuang said, putting down the phone in his hand. Shu Dawang's face was no longer smiling. Li Wenji, Xiao Ke, Guo Kaitang, and Fei Shi, the four people's eyes were all fixed on their captain. There has been an accident. A second girl has gone missing, Shu Dahuang said with a calm voice. Everyone's brows creased. A few months earlier, there was a girl who went missing in Minwen Girls' Middle School. Due to the school being unable to determine whether the girl had disappeared on the school grounds, this matter had been handled by the police. After a few months, there still hadn't been a single clue. This matter had been on the morning newspapers, but everyone was quick to forget. A city had more than a few million people, and someone disappearing was not something strange to the police at all. Shu Dahuang and his team had made a trip to the Minwen Girls' Middle School once before. The school, however, didn't want to make this into a big ordeal. Thus, they didn't want to let the city hunters do anything, leaving the matter completely unsettled. Who would have known that half a year later, there'd be yet another girl gone missing? This time, she had actually gone missing within the school grounds. The school finally realized that this was a big problem, and they urgently got in contact with the city hunter team. Captain, if someone were to go missing, shouldn't they still just contact the police? Xiao Ke opened her mouth to ask. This light mage found some footprints that didn't belong to humans, Shu Dahuang said solemnly. Everyone else immediately turned silent, except for Li Wenji, who seemed to be bursting with life. It was evident that he felt happy about having work to do. They contacted us a week after this happened. They really are a group of morons. If they had contacted us immediately, then perhaps we could even find the missing girl. Now that it has been this long, that girl is definitely gone. Some schools are like that. Everyone wants to hide the bad things, but once they realize they cannot hide it, that's when they know it's a real problem. Guo Kaitang said coldly. As Mo Fan heard everyone talking, his heart began to beat harshly. Missing for a month? Yi Xinxia hadn't contacted him for a whole week. Due to him not having the money to buy a mobile, Mo Fan had always used the old telephone booth to call Yi Xinxia's mobile. He would talk to her at least once a week. He had just returned from practicals, and his heart was filled with how to increase his own strength. Thus, he forgot to check in with Yi Xinxia. Aunt Mo Qing's house was near Minwen Girls' Middle School. Even during summer break, Yi Xinxia would spend the majority of her time immersed within the school's library, since it was extremely inconvenient for her to walk to begin with. As Mo Fan thought more about it, his heart felt increasingly more panicked. He urgently borrowed a phone from Fei Shi. The number you have called is unavailable. Mo Fan's heart jumped. I will reunite with you guys in a bit. Not saying anything further, Mo Fan dashed out of the hall of the Hunters Union. Hey, wait! In any case, take my phone with you, this way we can contact you easier. Fei Shi yelled toward Mo Fan. As he yelled out, Fei Shi tossed his phone toward the running Mo Fan. Brother, isn't it a bit dangerous when you throw your phone like that? What if that kid didn't catch it? Don't worry, that's a Nokia. It won't break, brother. I meant as in what if you crushed him to death? Quote. What's wrong? Why is your face suddenly looking so bad? Who knows? Either way, we should start doing our work. Chapter 57 Danger. Brushing past the body. Mo Fan felt as though he was burning with impatience. At this moment, he really wished he had a movement spell so he could quickly arrive at Minwen Girls' Middle School. Sitting in the slow taxi, he finally arrived at Aunt Mo Qing's house. As he dashed into his aunt's house, Mo Fan almost crashed into a girl in a wheelchair when he turned a corner. Brother Mo Fan. Yi Xinxia smiled sweetly. She was astonished and delighted that he was there. Xinxia, you're okay. You scared the living hell out of me. As Mo Fan saw Yi Xinxia's smile, his heart immediately calmed down. What's wrong? Why was your phone turned off when I called you? Payment was due. I wasn't willing to pay. Yi Xinxia lowered her head as she answered, feeling embarrassed. Quote. All right, the girl only wanted to save a little money. Either way, as long as she was okay, it was good. Mo Fan loosened up. Did the practicals go smoothly? Yi Xinxia handed a rolled handkerchief to Mo Fan. Nowadays, girls who carried a handkerchief were far too few. It's not that Xinxia was immersed in literature, but it was because carrying one would save money. Mo Fan wiped his sweat as he also smelled the fragrance on the handkerchief. There's still that alluring body fragrance. The ones he had stolen before had lost their fragrance. I almost exposed my vulgar actions. I heard that there are missing girls from your school? Mo Fan asked. Yi Xinxia nodded several times urgently. It's really scary this time. Aunt won't even let me go to school. Tell me what's going on. It's a girl from my next door class. Her name is Lin Yunner. The day she disappeared, I was also in the library. She even told me that she was going back to the dormitory. However, after that, I never saw her again. None of the cameras in school saw her leaving the school either. Yi Xinxia said with a low voice. Seeing her turning pale at recalling this, Mo Fan lightly patted her shoulder. In this case, you're the last person to see her? Mo Fan asked. Yeah, the police have already asked me numerous times, but that is all I know. However, Yi Xinxia lowered her head. What's wrong? Mo Fan asked. After leaving the library, I smelled something strange. This smell was similar to the rancid odor that was emitted from a certain place within the school cafeteria. However, our library is far from the cafeteria, and at that time, I felt a strange chill. It was like something was staring at me. I was really scared, so I hurriedly left that place, Yi Xinxia said. Mo Fan's eyebrows creased. Apparently, she had already been extremely close to danger. Brother Mo Fan, if I didn't leave that early. Yi Xinxia was clearly at a loss. Yeah, it's a good thing that you left early, or else you could possibly have become that missing girl. Mo Fan was glad inside. Yi Xinxia shook her head as she used a voice that only she seemed to be able to hear, to blame herself. I reckon that Scary Thing's initial objective was me. Since I hurriedly left the place, it turned its attention toward the person next to me, Li Yunner. I should have gone to find Lin Yunner and had her leave the school with me. As Mo Fan heard Yi Xinxia blaming herself, he was momentarily speechless. This brat, Just what is she thinking in her head? If she hadn't left early, then it's possible that there would be 2 missing people. If the school really had something that shouldn't be there, then neither of the 2 girls had the strength to defend themselves. How can this be blamed on you? Even if you were to tell Lin Yunner, she'd just think you're too paranoid. Your 5 senses have always been sharper than others ever since you were young. However, you are unable to move freely. Being able to protect yourself is already an impressive matter. Mo Fan used a soft voice to comfort her. Brother Mo Fan, do you think Lin Yunner has already? Most likely. Oh, no, definitely not. I'm now working for the City Hunter team. We will solve this problem. How could I let my cute Xinxia stay in such a dangerous school? Mo Fan said as he clapped his chest. This came from Mo Fan's heart. With such a thing happening within the Minwen Girls' Middle School, even if he wasn't a part of the City Hunter team, he'd still rush over. Yi Xinxia had already lost something very important to her growing up. No matter what happened, Mo Fan would not allow his wheelchair-bound sister to suffer even more things. She was pure, beautiful, and kind. When he was young, he'd often hide in Yi Xinxia's home after having fights with other kids from the area because he was scared of his dad's scolding. Yi Xinxia would carefully clean and wrap his cuts and bruises for him. She even lied to them for his sake. Ever since then, Mo Fan made a vow to himself that he would definitely take good care of her and not allow her to suffer anything. For the next few days, stay home. Wait till I finish dealing with the perpetrator? Mo Fan patted Yi Xinxia's head. Yi Xinxia nodded her head sweetly. After learning that Mo Fan was a lightning mage, Yi Xinxia began to feel safer. Moreover, she could also feel her brother Fan was currently becoming stronger and stronger. He went from a common youth to a magician, and then became a member of the City Hunter team. He changed practically every time she saw him. She guessed that during the time she didn't see him, he had done his very best to improve. Brother Mo Fan, did you get exposed to the sun when you were in practicals? Not at all. Why do you ask that? You're so black that I could barely recognize you. Quote. After leaving his aunt's home, Mo Fan headed for Minwen Girls' Middle School. Sheet, a city and a school actually had such a scary thing happening. Developing the flowers of this country in this kind of environment. The teachers may be able to endure it, but this uncle won't. The beautiful girls of Minwen Girls' Middle School, do not be flustered, do not be afraid. Your prince on a black horse has come to rescue you from this chaos. Bang! As he kicked the elegant gate of the school open, Mo Fan was feeling ready to enjoy the admiration and attention from thousands of girls in their short, white skirts. Who would have thought that as he looked in, the entire campus was completely empty. A few homeless cats on the flower bed stretched their heads out as they used their disdainful gazes to look at the intruder by the gate. It looked as though they were saying, "Where'd this retard come from? You scared the crap out of this daddy." Oh, I forgot this is the summer break, the girls aren't here. N? You got here before me. Not long after, a girl's voice came behind him. Mo Fan turned around and discovered it was that extremely arrogant Guo Kaitang. Other than this girl having a plump chest and slender legs, her entire body emitted the temperament of an evil woman.